Hello. You're so cute. I like seeing dogs. Maybe you're a fan of dogs. I hope you are. Anyway, welcome back to another video. Now, I'm going to talk about a crazy crypto crisis that's happening in the crypto market. Right? A really crazy crypto crisis. And what is that crazy crypto crisis? That crazy crypto crisis is a crisis of supply. Right? There's a big, huge crisis of supply in the biggest coins, specifically Bitcoin and ETH, but it's trickling down into other coins as well, right? Now you can say, well, there's still plenty of crypto to go around. Yeah, there's still plenty of crypto to go around for now, but compared to the overall number of Bitcoins that exist, nope, there isn't, right? Most of them are in cold wallets. They're not going to see the light of day anytime soon. They're being held by people who don't need to cash them out. Same with Ethereum. They're being held mostly by people who don't need to cash them out and who can ride out the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years without ever touching them. And then one day, if they want to, cash out pieces here and there for massive value and then just keep holding on to it and hand it off to their kids, right? Or to their company shareholders when they retire and go along their merry way, whatever, right? They're building future wealth for their companies or for themselves. There are a lot, and I mean a lot, of coins being held by big whales and wallets, right? I've already spoken about those numbers. We're talking 91% of all the coins that there can ever be in Bitcoin are already held by whales or whale wallet, giant wallets. And we're talking of Ethereum, a similarly high number. I think it's like 80, 85%, something like that, of Ethereum that's been created is in the hands of big wallets, right? That means 15, 20% is in the hands of retail at most. I think it's even worse than that already since the last time I looked at those numbers. But crypto is not slowly becoming the playground for the already rich. It already has really become that, right? The scraps that are left on the table already, it's not even like in the future we'll be, seeing retail traders fighting over scraps. Retail traders are already fighting over scraps, right? There's less than 1 million Bitcoin left to trade, far less, in fact. It's gotten down to such ridiculously low levels. It's probably somewhere around, just a few 100,000 coins left, really, if you look at the actual numbers. Why do I say that? Well, you can say, well, Binance has, whatever it is, 600,000 coins. And Kraken's got a couple 100,000. And MicroStrategy has a couple 100,000. And, all these giant companies that have a bunch, they have a bunch. Yeah, well, they do have a bunch. But they're not putting them on the exchanges for you to trade. Even Binance that has 600,000 coins, most of them aren't available for trading, right? They're in their cold wallets. They're in their treasuries. And yes, of course, the holders own those coins, right? Theoretically. But as long as they're in Binance's wallets, Binance controls them, okay? And same with any other exchange, right? And companies that own them, like MicroStrategy or, other companies like, that have lots, of Grayscale or, big trading firms like BlackRock that have hundreds of thousands of coins, right? In theory, yeah, they're holding them for their investors. But in reality, the companies are the ones holding them on the company's wallets. Hello, how are you? All right, thank you. How are you? So the crisis is very real in terms of the supply shock, okay? There remains a strong and growing demand for these assets. There are people who every week buy whatever the maximum amount is that they can buy, either on their credit card or through their bank, however many that is, of whatever coin they like or coins they like, right? Like we know for years, Jack Dorsey, who was obviously one one of the founders of Twitter and former CEO of Twitter, a complete Bitcoin maximalist in many ways. And he left Twitter in order to go run a Bitcoin startup that he founded. He, for years, as far as we know, has been maxing out every week on the amount of Bitcoin that he can buy on his credit cards or whatever to his bank. I remember like 5 years ago, 7 years ago, something like that. He was on like the Joe Rogan Experience podcast show, whatever. And he was telling Joe that every week he maxes out on what he can buy. And he plans to do it for the foreseeable future. So even if he stopped doing it at some point in the last year when the price went up to 70K, we know that in 2021 he was still doing it. When the price got to 70K, there's no reason he would have stopped when the prices got cheaper again and went all the way down to 15. So he's been buying and buying and buying. Who knows how much he owns? Doesn't matter. We don't care. Right? The guy's a billionaire. He's buying a lot of coins. Who knows how much he's bought? But I bet you his DCA on that has given him good returns. Because there's no reason that a guy like that would be putting as much money as he literally can every single week on his credit cards or on his bank or whatever if he was losing money on it, for multiple years. He would probably say, okay, I'm going to pause now, and he'd probably even announce it. Maybe not, maybe he would, doesn't matter. But that's my guess, based on the fact that he announced the fact that he was buying a whole bunch. And people like that, there's not really a shortage of millionaires in the world, and there's really a lot of, there's thousands of billionaires who can afford to buy massive quantities of Bitcoin and Ethereum and Solana and Litecoin and all these other wonderful projects that are out there, right? Tons of them, XRP and whatever. There's tons of people. And look, there's like over 60 million millionaires or 80 million millionaires, whatever the number is, that own, and if you add the millionaires and billionaires of the world, they own the vast majority of the wealth in the world. Just those 86 million people or 60 million people, whatever the number is. I forget. I think it's like 60 something million, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, chat. Last time I checked, it was like 61 million millionaires. I believe that's the number. It might have already gone up to 80 million millionaires. And if you toss in the thousands of billionaires, it doesn't really statistically change the overall number, because it's a low number of thousands of billionaires in the world. But those billionaires own a significant amount of the wealth in the world. And if you toss in the billionaires and what the millionaires own, there's like just a small handful of the billionaires own like some insane amount of the capital of all the money that people own in the world. Like, I think just the top, is it 10 or 100 billionaires in America own something like half the money in America. Half the money that's, held by people as opposed to the government or anything like that. But half the capital that's in circulation. Think about that. That's insane, right? And if you add all of the billionaires and millionaires in the world, which is, again, only 60 million people out of like 8 billion, right? It's they own the vast majority of the capital, right? In the world. The vast majority. Way more than 50% of the capital, right? And then if you add to that, they have the ability, collectively, to buy the entire crypto market at its current price for a drop in the well compared to the capital they have, right? Because they have more than, a few $1 trillion at their disposal, right? I mean, just Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos, just the two of them have between them, more than a few $100 billion. Just between the two of them. And there was a time, some years ago, not long ago, when literally, I think Jeff Bezos's amount of money, or Elon Musk, or both of them, they both had about the same amount as you would need to buy the entire market cap of Bitcoin. Right? When it dipped down below whatever it was, down to $3,000 or 15,000, whatever it was. So think about that, right? These guys who have such a massive amount of money love the beard. All right, man. Hey, thanks. Thanks for the positive notes. Good vibes. The fact that there's such a tiny handful of people who can literally own an entire market, like $1.5 trillion market like crypto, when they view it as a low risk asset right now, right, and at a relatively low price, because to them, it doesn't matter if it's $1 or $70,000, right? They don't care. If you're making millions of dollars a day, resting on your laurels from the companies you built, I'm not saying they didn't work to make their financial success or anything, but if they are literally able to retire and have a net worth of hundreds of billions of dollars, or in the case of many extremely wealthy millionaires, many millions of dollars, they really don't care what the price is. It doesn't really matter if the price is $1,000 or $1 or $20,000 or even $100,000. If you have tons of money, 100 grand is nothing to own a Bitcoin, right? Relatively. And we've seen how well the gigantic, positions of huge holders have been able to keep pushing sell pressure on the assets to keep the prices even cheaper, right? Down into the 49K range. We saw it go, back in August, right? How do you think that happened? A lot of sell pressure, right? People who had huge bags decided to sell the living daylights out of Bitcoin, drive the prices way down. Once they got to their targets, they bought it back up when everybody was panicking, right? And now they've got even more of it at a better deal than they bought it at when they were buying it between 50 and 74. And that's how. So it's it shouldn't surprise anybody. The buy pressure is driving up the prices over time, and that the returns keep going up over time, even if we have long periods of relatively sideways and downward, motion of the returns and the price action that follows. So that's it for now. Happy trading. See you.